For those that don't know me, my name is Denise Ingenito. I'm the Chief Community Impact Officer at Girl Scouts of Nassau County, and I want to welcome all of you to our second annual Leadership Connection Kickoff 2021. I'm hoping that next year it will be in person, not all these little tiny boxes everywhere. We hope that this event offers you the opportunity to meet other leaders, get some great ideas, and feel energized and supported. That's something that we've been really working hard on, is to do that. It goes without saying that the last 2 years have been really a challenge for all of us. But I have to say that the one thing that has remained constant is all of our volunteers' passion and determination to keep the girls going in Girl Scouts. And I can't tell you how much we appreciate that. We see the passion. I mean, we saw it at a meeting the other day, and I know that you're doing everything that you can. You may not always realize it, but the commitment that we have and the commitment that you have actually contributes to the positive trajectory of the girls going forward in the future. And that's really what Girl Scouting is all about, is making that positive impact. And again, we're just eternally grateful. So tonight we're going to start off with a 25-minute panel discussion with some of our valued service unit managers. I'm really excited about that. These women have played a number of roles in Girl Scouting, and they have all proven to be some of our strongest leaders. We hope that their experiences and knowledge will help inspire you as a Girl Scout volunteer. Sorry, my screen just changed. I was like, what just happened? Anyhow, so after the panel discussion, you'll be sent off to your breakout rooms for your workshop. If somebody could step up to be the designated spokesperson for your workshop, we'd like to come back to a wrap up afterwards so that you can share what your takeaways from those workshops, so that everybody can have an idea of what all 3 workshops were all about. We'll also have a Q&A at the end during the wrap up. And that's about it as far as that goes. So now it's my pleasure to introduce our panel facilitator, Laura Becker. Just to give you a little background on Laura, she's from our Elmont service unit and has been a service unit volunteer manager for the last several years. She's also served as a delegate chair, as well as a Mags and Munchies chair. She's been a Girl Scout leader to 2 troops for the last 15 years. And currently she has a senior Girl Scout troop. Each one of her girls earned their silver award last year. And Laura and her girls are very much involved with the veteran community and participate in many veteran events. Professionally, Laura has worked in the special education field for the last 25 years, from kindergarten age through high school. And she currently works with adults with developmental delays, and she truly loves her job. Her oldest daughter is in college working with her now while attaining her degree in forensic psychology, and her youngest daughter is in high school, and it is the troop that Laura is currently the leader for. And it looks like that's coming to an end soon. Oh my goodness, we'll have to find another role for you, Laura. Laura has been married for 24 years and is looking forward to retirement and moving down south once her youngest graduates. So I turn it over to Laura. Thank you, Laura, for doing this.
No problem. Good evening, ladies. And I'm going to begin with introducing our panel with our 3 Suvums. And the first Suvum I'm going to introduce is Susan Canatella. And Susan is of the Manhasset Service Unit, and she's been a Girl Scout volunteer for 23 years. She was troop leader for her 3 daughters' troops, from daisies to ambassadors, spanning 20 years. In addition to troop leader, she also served 2 terms as the Manhasset Suvum and is currently serving as the Service Unit Camping and Hire Awards Consultant. Last year, she joined the Girl Scouts of Nassau County Gold Award Committee, working as a mentor for girls pursuing their Gold Awards. She's also a member of the Diocese of Rockville Center's Catholic Committee for Girl Scouting and serves as her parish scouting coordinator. Susan considers her greatest success in leadership to be keeping girls involved in troops all the way through high school, with many of her girls earning the Gold Award. Yay, Susan. Next on our panel, we have Rose Connanen, who for over 16 years, Rose of the Park Service Unit has worked with the youth program development field. As a former executive director and program director of a nonprofit organization, Rose worked hand in hand with the community to provide services to children and families in New York City. In 2007, she was an honoree for the Builders and Emerging Leaders Award and named as one of the top 100 most influential Filipino women in the United States from the Filipino Women's Network. She started her journey as a leader with the Girl Scouts in 2015 and currently has a multi-level troop with 16 girls between first grade and seventh grade. Rose is the current service unit manager for the Park Service Unit. She's passionate about empowering the youth to develop their own vision of leadership and community service. Yay, Rose. And our last panelist is Mary Ellen Kelly of the Hardscrabble Unit. She started as a Girl Scout herself in 1976 as a Brownie and continued through cadets. She spent many summers having fun at Camp Blue Bay. Mary Ellen came back to Girl Scouts in 2015, this time as a troop leader for her daughter's Daisy troop. In 2016, she started a second troop for her other daughter and became a leader to her daughter's special needs Daisy troop. Since 2017, Mary Ellen has been a volunteer on Hardscrabble service team. She has served as the cookie booth procurer for troop booth sales. She has organized troop and service unit camping trips to Camp Blue Bay. And Mary Ellen also organized, chaired, and co-chaired several events for individual troops and service unit events. Now, in 2021, Mary Ellen serves as the co-Suvum for Hardscrabble. Yay, Mary Ellen. So those are our three panelists tonight, and they will be answering some questions that might help you with your service unit. So we're going to begin by Susan answering our first question. Okay, Susan, young girls and young women feel pressure from their peers and place pressure on themselves to be cool. At a certain point in their lives, they think Girl Scouts does not fit their definition of cool and opt out to being involved in more school activities. What recommendations do you have for troop leaders and Girl Scout parents and caregivers that will help empower and keep them engaged in Girl Scouts? Take it away, Susan.
Well, first, I'd like to note that it's not always just the girls, it's the parents as well, that impressing parents upon how important Girl Scouting is, especially for older girls. You know, the public conception, I think, of Girl Scouting is the daisies and the brownies. But the older Girl Scouting is ever so important to the girls, and it's an activity that should be on par with their other activities. And a lot of time it's the parental support that's needed and encouragement for the girls to be open to embracing Girl Scouting as one of their important activities. As for the girls themselves, I think the biggest thing we can do, I think in structuring your troop programming is to have girls set goals for themselves, and whether it be setting goals for the higher awards or service projects they want to do, or places they want to go see, or other achievements. When a girl sets a goal for herself and works towards it and achieve it, there's a sense of a personal accomplishment and satisfaction that it doesn't matter that whether what they're doing is considered cool by other people. They're so happy with what they're doing and have such a sense of satisfaction with it that they want to stay with it. It's something that's giving them a sense of achievement, makes them feel good, and they're making a difference. So I think goal setting in the troop setting is one of the best things that you can do as a leader for your girls. And the other thing is to make it fun. Listen to your girls. What do they want to, what do they want to do? What makes them proud to be a Girl Scout, and let that guide what you're doing with your troop. So.
Thank you. That was really well said, Susan. Okay, our next question is going to be answered by two of our panelists. And the first part is going to be answered by Rose, and then Mary Ellen will chime in. Rose, what can a service unit offer to engage Girl Scout adults, such as troop leaders, volunteers, and parents and caregivers? And what advice do you have for volunteers interested in joining their service team?
So being part of a service team is really important in the association. So in Park Association, we definitely encourage adult registered volunteers. Now, they don't have to be troop leaders to be part of our service team. In our service team right now, our current treasurer is an adult volunteer, and we're giving her some of the fun responsibilities besides being a treasurer, and it really gets her engaged. So this year, her first year on board, we gave her one of the more fun activities. So she's doing the trunk or treat. And when those events get successful, they get a really great sense of accomplishment. So they love it and they keep coming back. And we also have 2 of our delegates on our board that are also volunteers. So it's really a great way to get them involved. And if they can't become a troop leader, I mean, the ultimate goal is to get everyone to form a troop. But at this point, getting them involved in the service unit is wonderful.
Okay. And Mary Ellen, do you have anything to add to that?
Yes, I'm also going to piggyback on what Susan said before about having the leaders and the volunteers have the girls set their goals. I think it's a matter of pride also for the girls, because we all know once they hit middle school, they're just not engaged anymore. They're not interested. It's not cool, to be in Girl Scouts. And I know with Hardscrabble, which is Farmingdale, if people don't know where Hardscrabble is, once they hit middle school, it's like taboo. They don't want to be at cookie booths. They don't want to wear their vests to school, because in our high school, we have what they call the commons, where everybody gathers. And on days where you show what, your interests, a lot of the Girl Scouts do wear their vests, and some of them just don't want anything to do with it. And it's the leaders and the volunteers that need to, to keep them engaged and keep them wanting to keep coming back. So it's, it's like a catch-22. Like we try to find things for the little girls, kindergarten to 3rd grade. And it's very hard to find things that will help the girls move on. We keep pushing the gold award and the silver, the bronze, but they don't see it as a future endeavors, something that's going to look good on their resume, something that's going to, look good, when they have interviews. And we have to, keep pushing that. So that's, it's another thing that we can also discuss.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mary Ellen. Okay, and our third question, we're going to kick it right back to Susan. Susan, how do you and the service team members work together to mentor and support the volunteers in your local community? And what unique workshop does your service unit hold? And I know this is a question right up your alley.
First of all, with our leader meetings, we try to keep our leading meetings very on point, short and sweet. We try to keep them to an hour to keep our leaders engaged and know that they're getting everything they need. They can count on just being an hour. And it's a great opportunity to network with other leaders in the association or the service unit. We do hold 2 great workshops, I think, for our leaders, and both of them are in September. The first one is our new leader training. And I know GSNC holds a new year leader training, and I think there's a lot that that can be covered. But in the service unit, it's important because every service unit does things differently. So like what kind of events they have, how to sign up for the events, who you go to in your service unit to get things handled. So we have a whole new leader training where all of our new leaders, it's usually in person. They get to meet with someone to identify that new leader trainer. So it's a person they can go to with any questions they have that first year, because the learning curve for leaders, as I'm sure you all know, is so very steep. And things, you're throwing around terms, like adult coverage, and you know what that means by year 2, but first year you're like, what? So we really, we found it helpful to connect with our leaders. And then what the new leader coordinator does at the end of the year, circles back around with those new leaders and says, what do you wish you had known? What did we miss in our new leader training? And then we incorporate that into our next year's new leader training to make sure that we're always hitting all the points that are important to our new leaders. The second workshop that we have that I think is really, really important, obviously my big thing is the older Girl Scouts. For our 6th grade leaders and 5th grader leaders, if they're interested, 7th grade leaders, if they want to review, we hold a workshop called Road to the Gold. I think it's really important to put the Gold Award on the radar for both leaders and girls as soon as possible. And the road to the gold, the work for it actually begins in 6th grade cadets, because that journey that they do as a cadet, that's a prerequisite for the Silver Award, which then the Silver Award in turn is one of the prerequisites for, or could be a prerequisite for the Gold Award, making it easier. That all starts in 6th grade. And it's really hard for leaders coming out of juniors into cadets to like suddenly be looking ahead, 7 years, 6 or 7 years into high school, and they're just trying to get their grip around the fact that the uniforms changed. So to provide our leaders with that road, that framework on where they're going for the next 7 years, I think really kind of sets our girls up for success in attaining the higher awards.
That's so true, Susan. And I want to sign up for that Road to Gold Award is when you have that meeting. Okay, so now we're going to go back to Rose and Mary Ellen. Okay, Rose, how can you and the service team members rally the troops in your service unit? What events can leaders participate in to get Girl Scout families engaged in their local community?
So this is a really big one for our association to participate with our community events. We are directly linked with 2 of our civic units, civic associations, where we volunteer at their tree lighting ceremony, at their local food drives. Another big thing is we are always participating in the Memorial Day Parade. That's one big thing that our families are always participating in. And it's a wonderful experience to see the girls march and then to see the family on the sidelines. It's a really great thing, a really great experience with the girls. And we also work very closely with the veterans. And I know that this lies really true to your association, too, Laura. Working with the veterans is a really wonderful way to engage with our community. And there's so many different ways and different levels that we can do it. I mean, we can start as easy as writing as cards to our veterans at our young ages, to actually working forward and working with them directly. There's also a lot of associations that work directly with senior housing and senior living, and I think that's also really wonderful. And I think it's a great way for the girls to learn about communication and talking to adults. These are all important skills that the girls are going to need, and to build this sense of community outside of just their own little group of friends. And also to see how we all kind of work together.
Okay, that was great. And I really have to enforce that. It's really so important. Just reach out to your American Legion and your VFW. They will be so welcoming to the Scouts. It would be amazing, and it's amazing connection between the 2. Okay, Mary Ellen, what can you add to that?
Well, like Rose was saying, Farmingdale also has our service unit. We're very much involved with the senior citizens of Farmingdale. We have several senior centers and 55 and over communities. And once a season, we visit about 3 or 4 of these establishments. And like, for example, in the winter, we do caroling, Christmas caroling. We shovel snow. I mean, that's a tough one for the girls to do, but we get out there, and sometimes the dads come out with their snow blowers, so that helps. And of course, we sell the cookies door to door. They absolutely love it, because I can't tell you how many of them were Girl Scouts themselves, and it just brings smiles to their faces, and it's so heartwarming, for the girls to see that, and just to talk about the different pins on their vests, and they compare them. For the spring, we plant flowers in their gardens. We, just trying to brighten up their living space, on the outside. In the summer, we have ice cream socials in their clubhouses, and we just try to make them feel, it's part of the community, because sometimes, even though most of them are located on Main Street, they feel left out because they can't ambulate, they can't get out, they need people to shop for them. And when the girls come to them, it just makes them feel more of a community. And of course, in the fall, we do the trick-or-treating also in the senior centers. And, that brightens up their day also. We're very much community involved. Our civic association as well is They work hand in hand with us. We're involved with the parades in town. Farmingdale has a parade like every other month, and we're always marching. Our color guard is amazing, and that's another thing that you can get your girls involved in is, your service unit's color guard. There's such pride, for these girls to carry the flags down Main Street, and I think we have one of the I can't say better, but a very large service unit, and most of I say about 80% of our leaders are very much engaged with what we do, and it's proud. And this is my first year doing this, and we have such feedback and such help. It's amazing. So I'm very happy.
That's great. Thank you, Mary Ellen. Thank you, Rose. And again, I think that getting the girls so involved in the community does help them stay longer. They feel more obligated to the community. And I think that's when the girls stay in Girl Scouts longer, going back to our previous conversation. Okay, so Mary Ellen, the next one's just for you. What are some unique community service opportunities and trip ideas that you have heard about from troops and volunteers that you'd like to share with everyone?
Okay, now granted, all these things I'm going to list were pre-COVID. So just please, bear with me. I know things have changed now, but it's always something to fall back on, and hopefully these things will be up and running again. I'm just going to read. I'm sorry. Let's see.
Don't worry, we're taking notes.
Okay, good. Some of our favorite events that Hardscrabble has hosted are, there's a stand up to bullying workshop that we work hand in hand with. We have a Main Street scavenger hunt where the local businesses give out prizes, sometimes gift cards, for the first team to find actually what we're looking for. We tried to start the gnome, the little gnomes that they have. It was like gnome on Main Street, and you had to find a hidden gnome. I saw that a couple months ago online. I thought it was a cute idea. It's just finding the actual gnomes to put around Main Street is hard to do, but that's something, everybody can consider. Let's see, we have a mother-daughter craft night. Well, what we did is we painted like two identical, I'm sorry, my dog is going crazy. Like it was a paint night, but the pictures joined up in the middle. So it was very nice to see how the interpretation between the mother and the daughter on the same picture was. And mine is hanging up in my daughter's room. We have healing headbands. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of this business. They're actually out of Seaford. And what the girls do is they draw with felt markers, just like on a cardboard. And what the business does is they take that drawing and they make it into a headband. They make two. One goes to a child in a hospital with cancer, and the other one comes back to the scout. So they have this bond. It's called Healing Headbands. If you want to look them up, it's a fantastic business, and opportunity for the girls to be part of the local community. We volunteer at Jones Beach for the Autism Speaks walk and for the breast cancer walk, which is coming up. Unfortunately, we couldn't do it this year because of restrictions, but that's also something that the girls enjoy doing. And let's see, we have, of course, the firehouse tours, the precinct tours. They are very happy to work with the Girl Scouts. And we also started a campfire song along where we would just go to someone's house. This is my troop, not my service unit itself. And we would just sing and make s'mores. It's usually in June for the end of school, so it's nice for them to come together to say goodbye for the school year. But I could list so many other things, trips to the city, UN, see a show. But like I said, we can't do much right now, but it's also things to consider. And please utilize the possibilities book. That's what we always went to. If we needed an idea, and it's fantastic how they even list what who can participate, like the age bracket. So I know it's online, it's kind of tough right now with the possibilities, but I did hear hopefully soon they'll be printing the hard copies again. So please use that the possibilities for future endeavors. So, I think that's what I have for now. I'm sure I'll have more tomorrow.
Well, thank you so much. I took a lot of notes there. Okay, our next question goes to Susan. Susan, how does your service unit recognize the Girl Scouts in your community that have achieved or are in the process of earning the bronze, silver, or the gold awards?
So every spring we have an annual bridging / award ceremony where the girls were bridging from every level. So from Daisy's going to Brownies, Brownies going to juniors, juniors going to cadets and up, where it's held in an auditorium, the school auditorium. We have this little bridge that the girls go over. The girls just love it, especially the younger girls. So we invite our bronze, silver, and gold award recipients of that year to come and be recognized. So we invite our local dignitaries like the town supervisor, our state senator, and our state representative to be there to present the girls with citations. And before we start the bridging, so while we have everybody's attention, and remember, it's not just the little girls who are there, it's their parents as well. So we get the girls up then, the bronze, silver, and gold awards. We do them individually if we have time, or in groups if we're really if there's a lot of girls, and therefore keeping in mind that we have first graders waiting to go over the bridge, we kind of condense it a little bit, but it still is an opportunity to recognize the girls before our community. And I think this has a twofold benefit. First of all, it kind of highlights the girls' achievements to themselves and make them realize that we, as a community and Girl Scout leadership, recognize their achievement and how important it is. And I think the dignitaries help kind of formalize that. But there's the second benefit of it is putting them in front of the younger Girl Scouts and their parents. And I sound like a broken record with the parents, but it's important to put it on their radar. So we have these older girls getting these citations from these important people, and the bronze and the silver awards, we have the leaders put them on a ribbon and they're presented to them like an Olympic medal on the stage. So there's a lot of like pageantry that kind of like wow factor for the younger Girl Scouts. And then we say to the girls, actually, we hope to see you up here in a few years receiving your bronze, silver, and gold awards. And it kind of registers it with the parents too, that there's more to Girl Scouting beyond daisies and brownies. So by doing a community-wide recognition of them, I think it really kind of helps highlight the importance of our higher awards for our girls.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And that's so true. Okay, our next question goes to Mary Ellen. Mary Ellen, in your experience as a Girl Scout volunteer, what is something that you have done or something that you have learned that has made you a success?
Oh, well, I think my greatest accomplishment was starting the special needs troops for my daughter. When she was a first-year Daisy, I was able, from her class, she was in a 12-1 class. She is autistic and she has ADHD. And there were a couple of moms that kind of felt left out when we had signups, and they'd come to me and they're like, well, what can we do for our daughters? And I said, well, we'll form a troop. You know, why should it be any different? We just took things at a slower pace. We had a total of 6 girls, all different diagnoses. And we did accomplish all our pedals. We accomplished events. We like I said, we just took things slower, and the girls loved it. They loved to sell cookies. That was their favorite things. And they actually sold more than, you know, a troop of 18. And because they, you know, Stop and Shop, they flocked to them. You know, it was amazing. And they had, you know, some hid under the table, some played with their iPad, you know, but having them engaged in general is very hard to do. You know, for them to be at a booth sale for a half hour, it was sometimes beyond our realm, but we were able to know to do that with them. I also, and I'm not going to talk anymore about that, but I think another thing that we need to do as leaders is get the word out of events to every Girl Scout. A lot of these parents, they don't have social media, they don't have the internet, they don't know what's going on unless we verbalize. And I've been to too many events where the next day I had parents come up to me, not in my troop, but other troops, saying, I didn't know about this. How come, you know, so-and-so was telling my daughter at school that we had a great time at gymnastics. My daughter would like to have gone. It's because the leaders don't get the word out. You know, if they feel if they can't make it, or if their daughter can't make it, nobody can make it. And that's so wrong. You know, just put it out there. I mean, if one person can go out of your troop, then that's one person that's going to enjoy it. Just please, if I can, reiterate, just get the words out, because everybody should benefit from what we have to offer, so.
That's so true. And we really do need to get the word out, and it really is, it does make a difference to the parents, because then they do see, well, even though the leader can't go, all the other girls can, and it really does make a difference.
Right, give them the option. If they say no, they say no, but at least it's out there.
Yeah.
So you can say, yes, they did tell me. So that's one of my pet peeves.
All right, and our last question is going to go to all three of our panelists, and I'm going to start with Susan. Susan, what is something that you want volunteers to take away from this year's event?
I think it's so important to keep in mind that Girl Scouting is for K through 12. It's just as important for the older girls, and by older girls, I mean cadets and up, if not more so than it is for the younger girls. Everybody, as I said, everybody wants their girls to be a Daisy or Brownie, but sometimes they don't realize what goes on at the older girl level. And I have to tell you, that's where the real Girl Scout magic happens, when the girls really kind of grow, make decisions, come into their own. It's really amazing to watch. And as a leader that's taken girls from kindergarten up through 12th grade, it's been unbelievable. And for some of you leaders out there who are just starting on this journey, 13 years may sound like completely overwhelming, but it's going to go by in a blink of an eye. And for those of you who are struggling with keeping Girl Scouting relevant for those middle school and older, hang in there. They'll get it. They'll get it, and they'll get so much out of it as long as you keep in there. As you go and you get to those challenging ages, it's unbelievable how supportive Girl Scout Nassau County is and your service unit can be. Tap into those resources, network with other leaders. When we have these kind of events that we have right now in person, you'll actually meet them in person, exchange phone numbers, emails, whatever, stay in contact, share ideas. It's a collaborative effort here with all of us working together to get these girls here. So just take it one year or one level at a time and tap into those resources of Girl Scouts Nassau County and experienced leaders, and hang in there.
Thank you, Susan. Rose, is there something you want volunteers to take away from this year's event?
Yes. I think our leaders should really tap into the parents and have them as one of your greatest resources that you can have for your troop and for your service unit. It is starting at the Daisy level, and at the Daisy level, I had, in my own personal troop, I had all of the adults register, and they became registered adults. And through the years, they were given different roles, different jobs, and then they slowly, kept going, and it turns into a family project. So my husband comes, my son comes, when we do troop things, when we were able to bring tag-alongs, it was a whole family. We went on family hikes. So it wasn't just our girls, it was the families that came, and they were the ones engaged. So one of the things I like to say is that as individuals, we can't do everything, but we can all do something. So really look at your volunteers, look at your parents as one of your greatest resources out there. And to also piggyback on what Mary Ellen said, really engage the other parents. If you can't come to an event, ask one of your other parents to take on board. And that's one of the really great things that I have in my troop, is that we have other adults that are registered that are able to take our girls when needed. So start at a really young age and then bring them all the way up, exactly what Susan said. And I'm excited for the older girl years because my girls are in cadets.
Thank you, Rose. Mary Ellen, what is something you want volunteers to take away from this year's event?
Well, like Susan said, use your resources. Get to know everything that's out there for the girls, and get to know your girls. Get to know their weaknesses and their strengths. Get to know their fears. I mean, when my daughter was 5, one of her best friends was afraid to go to Adventureland because they walked around in those costumes. She was petrified. So we knew, like any event that would have like a person in a costume, we couldn't do. And allergies also. There are allergies. you got to know the girls because, hopefully you're with them until they're seniors and you get to watch them grow, and it's amazing. And the beginning of every year I have them fill out like, what about me? It's just, a ditto. And I saved every one. I'm making a booklet for their parents. And as long as they continue, that's how many, obviously, pages we'll have. And I'm going to give that to the parents at the end. And so this is how your daughter grew, through Girl Scouts. And it's just, it's like a timeline. And I think that's fabulous. So I would definitely, get to know your girls, because they're the backbone. And without them, we wouldn't be here. So, that's all I have.
Thank you so much. It's so true, Mary Ellen. Okay, so I would like to thank our panelists, and they all agreed, and Krista will put their emails up. If you have any further questions for them, you can email them directly. And I'm going to turn it back to our Girl Scouts of Nassau County workers.
Okay, so here's the momentous occasion. We're going to get you guys back into the breakout rooms. Hopefully it works. I think it will. It looks like it's set up. You're going to see a message saying to join your breakout room. If for some reason somebody wasn't assigned a breakout room, we'll get you in there, no problem. And let's see. We're going to open up all the rooms. Let's see what happens. Have a great workshop, everybody. And make sure you remember to designate a spokesperson for our wrap-up.